Hi, and welcome to At the Red Line podcast. My name is Alec Gonzalez. I'm a life coach and spiritual director for pastors and leaders in the local church. I'm here with Rob Reuter at IDIC Designs. Did I say that right?
IDIC, IDIC.
IDIC Designs. Rob and I have been talking for, I think, an hour, 15 minutes. Yes, an hour now. We were supposed to get right into it, but clearly you're more interesting than I thought you'd be. But I thank you for coming on my podcast.
Oh,
that was really fun getting to know you, and clearly you are really helpful to a lot of people, and I'm excited to kind of share your story a little bit. I always like to start with the beginning. Where were you born? Where were you raised? What was your family of origin? How many siblings? What was mom and dad?
All right. Well, so I was born in Spokane. In fact, actually, less than 3 miles, probably about a mile and a half, the crow flies from where I currently live down in Spofford. So my family has been in that house since the late 40s.
Oh, wow.
So awesome. I don't have the exact year they moved in to that house, but my goal has been to be able to look back and say there's been a Reuter in this house for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're longtime residents in Spokane. But my parents moved over to Olympia when I was between one and three. And so I grew up for 10 years in Olympia. And then when my parents divorced, we moved back into the inland Northwest, and I spent time in Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, and eventually settled in Spokane, excepting for education, where I was in Spangle and Walla Walla.
Okay.
So lots of things. One sister, 2 parents, they divorced and remarried back together in 97. So they took a break, and then they're back together and have been for the last almost 20 years.
Okay. In our conversation, we had a pretty in-depth conversation about religion and faith, and I wonder if you could give the quick arc of it, starting when you were younger, and then journeying with family, and then your more current point of view as far as it relates to spirituality.
So I was born into and raised in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and so I grew up in the relative traditions of a soon return of Jesus and living a good life thing, and that held my life together for a lot of years. In fact, when I went to college, I even took some time to explore becoming a minister. So I went into the theology program. I learned Greek. I learned to read the scripture and study the scripture in the original languages and things. But along the way, I was struggling with the effects of some childhood trauma in my life that were also related to the church. And so I asked questions, and I had a number of professors that encouraged me to question things.
Good.
And to explore.
Kind of a Jesuit thing. I don't know if you know this, but the Catholics and the Jesuits in particular are very, and you kind of got that Jesuit look to you. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and that's ironic you bring that up, because in fact, that's why I think I was attracted to becoming a adjunct faculty at Gonzaga. Because as I really got to study Jesuit philosophy and principle, it mirrors a lot of the Adventist teachings.
I didn't know that.
Of mind, body, and spirit.
Interesting.
And things. And so those two traditions are very, very familiar to me. And so, yes. And so I eventually moved away from a regular religious family and practice, just simply because I practice, discovering my own spirituality and where I'm at. And so I am always seeking, always looking, but on my own terms. I don't subscribe to a particular faith tradition, but I listen to everyone and then reconcile for myself what appeals to me, what doesn't. And
well, thanks for sharing that. I often have people who think just exactly like me, and it's fun to talk to them because we have lots in common. But I really do like to give voice to people that have differing, spiritual journeys. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. So IDIC Designs is a business that you started how long has it been?
IDIC Designs began operations in January of 2001.
Oh,
which
that's 24 years.
Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And you also sense what kind of traumatic year that was. And so it was one of those
2001. That's right.
Yeah. So one of those where, we had that milestone in September, and it seemed like, was this a good year to start a business?
Yeah.
But it certainly turned out to be good for me, because I've discovered, since I work with technology, that I have an inverse relationship. When the economy is good, people wonder what they pay me for. But when the economy is bad, people know what they pay me for.
That's good. That's good.
So,
well, I'd love for you to be challenged.
Okay.
And we talked earlier about a pitch, an elevator pitch, and how it's hard for you. So I'm going to give you as much time as you want. Take as much time as you want. Just if you want to take 5 minutes to do your elevator pitch, that's fine. I don't care.
Okay. So I think the way I'm going to approach it today, and this is why, as we talked about, that my challenge with elevator pitches is because it changes on a daily basis. I'm just never quite sure what today I want to emphasize. And the reason for it is the reason I call my business IDIC Designs.
This should be good.
I am a sci-fi buff, and Star Trek is a big part of that. And the reason I adopted IDIC was because of the term comes from what is considered the Vulcan philosophy. And the Vulcan philosophy is infinite diversity in infinite combinations.
Okay.
And that spoke to me as an entrepreneur working in the technology field, is that people would come up to me and they say, I have this problem. Can the computer do that? I'd say yes.
Would you think about it first, or would you just say yes?
I know the computer can do anything and everything you want it to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it's infinitely diverse.
Oh, that's so funny. Do you know, just recently I've discovered ChatGPT. I've only been associated with them for about, 6 or 8 months is all.
Yeah.
And I love the feeling I get when I think I have a question and I know who to turn to start to figure out, what other questions to ask. And, is there a book about, or, what's the standard operating position or procedure for this or that, or I don't know anything. So tell me what I don't know first, and then we'll get into what you think and what standard procedures are. I love that.
Right.
That's awesome.
And here's what I appreciate is that the way you're approaching ChatGPT is a healthy one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Because I come from academics. I'm an adjunct faculty at Gonzaga, and there's an unhealthy treatment of AI.
Oh, really?
And the unhealthy treatment of AI is to say, I want to avoid doing work, so you do it for me.
Oh.
And so they look at AI and they say, oh, here's a way I don't have to do the work. I need a newsletter. ChatGPT, write my letter for me.
Interesting. Well, okay. I have to be honest that in some ways I am lazy, but I love to read. I love knowledge. I'm curious. I want to learn.
Right.
Like, I'm not wanting you to write something so that I don't have to, edit it or look at it or say, no, that's not what I meant or whatever. So I sometimes am lazy in using ChatGPT, but the result and the curiosity and the learning and the sort of parallel journey of understanding and knowledge that I get from ChatGPT, it's unmatched.
Oh, absolutely.
It's unmatched.
I mean, just yesterday. So quick story. My sister lives on 20 acres and has problems with internet bandwidth, and using things where she wants. And so she had hit me up several months ago and says, we need to somehow get internet to the barn. Don't know how to do it. And I did my quick little research and I said, okay, I know what we need. I'm a skilled professional. I know you need an extender. You need to get from the house to the barn and things. Yeah. And I did some basic searches and I think, okay, here's a recommended product that it seems reasonably priced. It's going to do the trick and so on. So I recommended it to her, and unbeknownst to me, she actually immediately went out and bought it. And then months go by and she hits me up before Super Bowl, because we're getting together for the family party to watch Super Bowl. And she goes, well, we bought this and we haven't set it up yet, but we want to set it up. Can you come out early and make sure it gets working? And so I said, oh, okay, yeah. So I showed up and they'd done a nice job. It was all set up. Didn't work. Did I do this right? Did I get the wrong thing? And she showed me everything set up and things. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting here on my iPad with my ChatGPT, and I said, okay, we're using this product. We're doing this. What's wrong? And it started doing the diagnosis with me and things. And I've actually tuned my GPT to challenge me with my assumptions and things like that.
Really?
So I've customized the GPT so that it will not just accept me and say, oh, you're being brilliant, but actually say, now here's your assumption. This is why it's probably a problem.
That is a great idea. Rob, how'd you come up with that? That's freaking brilliant.
Just by my curiosity and following people.
I do sometimes get annoyed that I'm so right all the time with ChatGPT.
And things. And so so yesterday afternoon before the game, I'm sitting here busy going back and forth with the GPT, and eventually between its questions and answers and things, I figured out, okay, I know what's going wrong. I know it's the right tool, it's the right product. We just have to do different settings to get it hooked up so that it would work. And nice. so it is a great tool, and we live in amazing times with technology. It's just for my purposes as the owner of IDIC Designs, people will oftentimes invest in a technology because everybody else is using it, but it's not the right technology for them.
Okay, back to IDIC. Were you on a line, like a narrative? Tell us about your business. Okay. Give me the pitch. All right. I think somehow I took you off.
But that's what I do. So the pitch of IDIC Designs is that technology will do anything you want it to do.
Okay.
But you have to understand your business to make sure it's doing what you need it to do.
Okay. So you work with business owners.
I work with business owners, and I help them align their technology choices to their business goals.
what is the most average pain point that your perfect customer or a client or your average client is experiencing that would cause them to think I should call Rob?
Primarily that they're not getting the results that they were promised
from
whatever
technology
from whatever they purchased.
Like they bought an Apple computer and like, this thing is slow as hell.
Yeah. Or they bought, a piece of software.
Don't talk about mine.
And it doesn't, it doesn't deliver, the results that they were promised.
Okay.
So when before I started IDIC Designs, I was a technology trainer, and I worked with a lot of businesses and business owners that would come in to learn software.
Okay.
And all the time I would encounter people that would say, well, we bought this software because of this report that our CFO or our CIO or somebody wanted. And we spent all this money on it. And then once we installed it, we found out that in order to get that report, we would have to change the whole way we did our business.
Okay. Let's pull back just a little. Okay. So you've got people out there that have technology and they're not getting the result they want. And the tension there is that it'll just continue to underperform forever, and they will have paid for something and they're not getting the value.
They're not getting value. And today, the problem is they're paying for it month after month, and they're beating themselves up because they think they got the wrong thing. And okay. I'm going, it's your expectation. You had a goal. You're the business owner, but you haven't taken a step back and say, but what's the information?
Okay.
My love is data.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I understand. You work for business owners who are married to technology and they're about to get a divorce because their technology is sleeping on the job. They're basically not performing at very high levels.
Right.
And your plan to fix this, I'm guessing long-term conversations or relationship.
Meet them where they're at and figure out what that first problem is that we can solve that moves them in the right direction. I think maybe what would help is my story with my mother decades ago. When I was in college, I said, I want a computer. She says, well, when you get a degree and you're out there, with this, you can spend your money on whatever you want. And then she came down for summer school. And while she was there for summer school, she needed to do some papers. And this is in the 80s.
How old are you?
I'm 60 years old.
Oh, okay. I'm older than you by 3, so that's good.
Yeah. So she came down, and this is about 88, or 87. And my friend at the time, my best friend still today, he had a computer and things, and she came down, had all these papers to write, and we convinced her, and we said, look, you could go get a typewriter and you could go do all this, but why don't you come over here? And try Ben's computer and things. And she learned how to do word processing and write her papers on the word processor. And she finished her summer school and she went back to Coeur d'Alene. And about 3 weeks after she got back home, I had a brand new computer.
Nice.
Because she went in and bought a computer, and she says, I can't exactly buy myself a computer and not get one for him.
Okay.
But what we discovered at the time was, yes, the computer was the right answer, but it was the information that it could manage for her that was more important. And that's where IDIC Designs is really focused, is what is the information you manage and what is the proper way to turn that information into a system that helps you be more effective
at
your goals.
Okay. And the result is
whatever your business. I have clients that are a brokerage. So their system is all about managing their customers' financial information and making sure it's available when they need it.
okay.
It
sounds like the result is technology working the way it's supposed to. Like I was talking to a friend of mine about his Apple computer and how much better it is than a PC at editing and video and stuff like that. He's like, it's like way better, way faster. I can imagine if I got that computer and it was like still slow, it's not working like it's supposed to. And that's basically what you're saying is your clients struggle at the beginning with having technology and it's not working like it should. And when they're done working with you, their technology is flying and it's making them really efficient and they're saving time and money and frustration, I would guess, and anger and resentment.
Right.
Okay.
The only twist I'm going to put on that is that I don't come with the bias that says one platform over another is better.
All right.
I come with the platform with the bias that says the best tool is the one you will use.
Okay.
If you're going to use a Mac, there's great tools, great things on Mac. That doesn't necessarily make the Mac better.
Okay.
I work with both platforms, and there are things about Macs that I absolutely frustrate me to all get out because they want to take away your level of control. They want to own your interaction with them.
That's and funny. You're the second person that said that.
Sometimes the right answer is to give you more control so you can personalize it the way you want it to work.
Yeah. That's exactly what someone else told me. Okay, moving on. It sounds like you could probably work with anyone, but if you could choose your next 10 clients exactly what you want for the optimum amount of, helpability, like you really want to help them and change their life and really make it, value added, client, and, helps your financial portfolio. What's a perfect client?
Somebody who has an idea that needs a platform.
Okay. Can you put that in more terms that knobs like me can understand?
Think of a platform like Facebook.
Okay.
The reason why Facebook continues to outpace and grow and expand is because they weren't trying to solve a specific problem. They weren't, in fact, the original dream of Facebook was simply to create a list. To put it in crass terms, they wanted a list of girls. They wanted to be able to they wanted to basically create a database that showed these are the people I'm connected to. And things. And then they wanted to play games with each other, like there's the poke feature and there's this and this and all of that. Now, guess what? The features that they built in 2004 are still there in 2026. We just don't use them anymore because they're old or, things, but it never went away. Because instead of building a product that they could sell to people, what they did was create a platform to bring people in to something.
Can you give an example of a platform? I want to give you business. I want to bring a client to you that's going to pay you $10,000 every year for the next 10 years. And I'm trying to figure out who that is. Is it, is it IBM or is it the sawmill up in Gearing or is it the contractor, the general contractor or just the single painter guy?
So the ideal customer for me is going to be somebody who sees beyond today's need
Uh-huh.
and realizes that there's a consistent way of solving this problem, that I can help more people if I can build something, if they just want to get their invoices out the door faster, it's like, okay, go use QuickBooks.
Yeah.
I can't beat QuickBooks.
Right.
But if I can use data to connect tools that you're already using and put them together in a way that you've not thought of doing
Okay.
it. So
cool.
You use your CRM to collect information. Great. I want to help you move that data into your email platform or into your blog platform, so that you have one point of contact with your ideal customer.
Boy, I can see the value of that.
You have everything working for you like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And so that's where IDIC comes from, is I don't have anything to sell you particularly, but I have a goal I want to work with you on, which is you tell me what you want to use, and I'm going to figure out how to get it to do that for you.
All right.
And that's why it's so hard for me to always give a elevator pitch, because everybody is different. They have a different problem. What I have to ask for is a suspension of an outcome. We don't know what it is yet until we build it. That's the platform.
We don't know what it is yet until we build it.
But you know that the life you want to lead is different than the one you're building right now.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. I mean, it's deep and kind of profound and kind of hits you in the face. It's obnoxious. It's true. I'm not saying you're obnoxious. Right. I mean, the statement of fact is actually true. We're building what we don't know. We don't know what we're going to get when we're done building. Like. That's really amazing.
And that's where my infinite diversity is. I have no idea what things, but everything I do, I designed a data system that, my other big client, does background checks, and they came to me in 2003 and they said they had a problem. They worked with Microsoft Access and they did background checks, and they wanted to deliver the final report as a PDF. And what they were doing at the time was producing it and faxing it to people.
Ugh.
And they wanted a website where they could come on to the website and download it as a PDF. And I said, oh yeah, got it. I mean, I have software. We can build that, build that site. They sold that business 20 years later, and we never stopped building on that project.
Interesting.
Because every time we reached that first milestone, we immediately knew what the next thing was.
Yeah.
We knew what the next thing was, and the next thing. And we started attracting some big players in the business world because we could do things that other vendors couldn't. And the reason we could do it is because I never limited them to this. It does this and nothing else. Yeah. It was always open-ended, infinite in terms of what we could do next. And so we literally we 10x their business over 20 years because we're always asking, what's next? Yeah. What's next?
That's cool, Rob. Okay. What are you looking forward to in 2026? What's got you just kind of excited?
Well, what's got me excited is that I actually have, that next customer that I've been looking for quite some time, trying to figure out. I get energized by creativity. So I love the problem. And I finally, had somebody that I connected with in 2025 that we started exploring, how we could work together and things. And I got excited because, he has a really cool concept, a really cool idea, and it needs a design, an architect to come in and say, okay, for this platform to exist, it needs some new things and things. And we're really excited about the possibility of it. I can't, give specifics here, but it's that kind of creativity where I don't have to live within somebody's boundaries that we can only do this. As like, it's an open concept right now.
All right.
Let's figure it out.
All right, Rob Reuter, IDIC Designs. What's the best way for someone to contact you?
Well, robertreuter.com.
Okay.
You can find my online profile and things. It has email address and contact. If you do want to do direct with email, it's robar@idicdesigns.com.
Okay. I'll put it right here, kind of down low in front of you. All right. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. My name's Alec Gonzalez with Coaching the Red Line. I'm a life coach and spiritual director. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Alec, for
fun.
sharing your platform.
All right.